Welcome back to Sports Nation. Another week.
It's another week, and it's a busy week.
It's a huge week. August is here.
It's unbelievable how fast it goes, you know?
And
It
you know
really
what
is.
August brings?
Football.
Football.
And block parties and tailgate. So don't forget all that stuff, too.
Well, there's no block party and tailgate in August, though, is there?
No, that's true.
But
it's around the corner.
How is the tailgating?
It's great. We have one tailgate spot left, which should be sold by the end of this week, and it'll be the I don't know how many years in a row that every year I've been the AD, we've sold out with tailgate spots.
So you
140.
140. Interest higher than ever, you think?
I think so. I think within the whole department. But obviously football is a catalyst, and I think it starts everything. Obviously, we had a huge day yesterday when the kids saw the new locker room. And, that locker room was.
We're going to go in there. We're going to go in there one day and show it.
It was $1.1 million. It was unbelievable. It's all over social media. Even I've had ADs from across the country that saw it online, reach out to me. Commissioner Grant. I mean, it is an unbelievable locker room. But here's the thing. It was the same locker room since the 70s. Nothing has ever been done, right? It's like you and I've talked about before. Well, I mean, we're just now starting to catch up to where we should have been a decade ago.
Decade and a half, probably. Yeah.
Yes.
Here's the thing, and I don't like to bring this up, but it's been almost 8,000 days since McNeese last won a playoff game.
Yeah.
I wait to think about that.
Yeah.
It's been 21. This will be season number 21. So there's obviously a lot of upgrades that needed to be done all over the place. It's good to be seeing done, but more importantly, that sends a message not only to the current team, but to future recruits.
100%. Look, we're not messing around. I told Coach when we went through when I was recruiting him to come here, I mean, I was very, very honest and transparent. And I said, listen, this program is broke. It's broke academically. It's broke from a culture standpoint. Our facilities are not up to speed. Our funding is not up to speed. I'm just telling you, this is where it is, but this is where we're going. And, and I said, you have to trust me. And I understand as a former coach what you're going to need to get it done. And this locker room was a huge deal when we were talking about him coming here. And look, he had, he was at a job that, paid really good money, was competing for national championships. He had other FCS, yes.
Other people looking.
But this locker room was a big deal, and for me personally, it was very satisfying because I was able to push this thing through. Dr. Roos and I to push it through to the finish line because this is a big step for us.
And it also shows people that things are getting done. So when you say there's a new press box coming, they now can say, hey, he's done it here, he can do it there.
Oh, no question about it. And no question about it. Look, I mean, our weight room needs to be completely overhauled. We still have damage from floods and hurricanes, and it's the same thing. I mean, you have to continue to look at ways to upgrade your facilities and stay up with the Joneses, if you will. And the thing is that, again, I'll say it, McNeese Athletic Foundation is the catalyst, and it's the reason.
That's the game changer.
Yes.
Ultimately, that was the game changer.
Yes, I mean, look, when we took over, when Dr. Roos became the executive vice president and I became the athletic director, the day I took the AD and got the budget, we had a $3 million deficit.
Yeah.
I mean, and without MAF, because you have all these clubs running around trying to do, it doesn't work. MAF is the reason we were able to get that locker room.
Yeah, it is, like I said, it is the game changer. Okay, let's talk about other game changers. Colorado, newly into the Pac-12 basically, is now leaving the Pac-12 to go back to the Big 12, which will now be the Big 13, apparently, when all is said and done. But the Pac-12 now has to make some decisions that are going to impact every level, aren't they?
I think so. It's going to be really interesting to see, the next domino to fall. Obviously they, everyone can kind of get through this year if they need to. Colorado's not leaving until the following year, but there's going to be a lot of movement behind the scenes, in the next 10 to 12 months. That's
2024 seems like the movement. That's when Texas and Oklahoma go to the SEC. Mm-hmm. It's when UCLA and USC go to the Big 10, 12, 16, whatever it is now, 18, I guess, at that point in time. That seems to be the time when there's going to be movement. Are you trying to finagle into that position
What position's that?
to where you're moving also in 2024?
Well, listen, I mean, all we can do, I've said it before, all we can do is control what we can control. There's a lot of work that needed to be done, years ago. We're getting those things done. The press box is huge. The locker room is big. The new weight room here in the Legacy Center that is now here, that was a big step. We need to redo the locker room there. Soccer needs a few things. Baseball needs a new facility. And all of those are soon to be announced. That's, if you want to call it a strategic plan, those are all on it. And but here's what I do know is that we need to do everything we can from a funding standpoint and a facility standpoint to be ready if and when that opportunity ever comes.
Real quick, though, but to end this segment, do you have to get to FBS to become financially better off, or can FCS survive?
I think it can survive, but
In what form?
I don't know what that form looks like, but I think that McNeese can survive for sure.
Not just McNeese, but FCS football.
Yeah, I think so, but I also think that the gap is only going to get larger, right? I mean, between the La Techs and the FCSs and the Lafayettes and all, like the gap is only going to get wider. I think that if you have the ability, and you have the means to do it, I think it only makes sense to try to make the jump if the opportunity comes, and you don't know if that's going to come or not. Listen, we're not the only FCS program out there.
No, apparently not. From what I see, no, you are not.
That has the same vision and same mentality.
When we come back on Poke Nation, Gary Goff will join us and talk about camp and the heat that's out there after this on Poke Nation.
We're all from different places.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. It is an honor to have Coach Gary Goff. Welcome,
bet.
Coach.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Well, listen, you've been on this show a couple times. Let's talk about the most obvious thing in college athletics right now at McNeese, and that is the new jacket.
I know where we're going. I know where we're going.
The new jacket that Gazzolo the Great has. What do you think about that?
I'm jealous. I don't
Isn't
have
it
that
unbelievable?
color, and it's nice. He said he had it made.
And you know what's funny is that usually when I come in, he's not wearing a jacket. He just throws it on the last second. Like now, like he had it on early. I think he got here but isn't it unbelievable?
I've been here since 7, yeah. I'm not sleep in the new jacket.
He sleeps in the jacket. I don't blame him. It's nice.
That's nice. So I just want everyone to recognize and Poke Nation to recognize, like, it's an unbelievable jacket, and we are so honored that you got a new one. So, but anyway, Coach.
Had to roll a couple bums in the street to get it. But
But Coach, welcome. It's football season.
It is.
Oh my gosh! Like we're obviously filming on Monday.
Yep.
You got a bingo fundraiser tomorrow on Tuesday, and then you gear up and ready to go on Wednesday.
Absolutely. I mean, Wednesday morning's our first practice, so we'll have position meetings Wednesday morning. I think practice is starting around 8:30, and then we're going at it for about 2 hours, and then meetings all night and all throughout the day, and then all night, and then we go back at it again on Thursday. Now, the rest of the camp will be a little bit different. We're trying to go extremely early because of the heat.
Sure,
So most of the times practice will start about 7:30 in the morning.
I asked you this. It was actually on your birthday. I asked you this, and I think it'd be really interesting for Poke Nation to know this. So now, when you go into camp, right? What is the schedule? Tell Poke Nate, like, what is the schedule for a coach and for players starting on Wednesday for those 10 days or whatever of camp?
Yeah, the nice thing about camp is we're just focused on football. There's no school yet. We're not restricted to hours, by the NCAA. Right. We are restricted by, only having one practice a day, and we got so many days of helmets, so many days of just shoulder pads, and then so many days we can actually do some live hitting. So there are some restrictions on it, but it's football 24/7. So the staff gets in a little bit before 6. The players will eat breakfast, and it's a light breakfast at about 6:15. They start getting taped. We'll have a real brief meeting, maybe 30 minutes in the morning. Then we're out at the practice fields. So we'll be at practice for about 2 hours, 20 minutes. We are tying into that a heat delay, like a halftime, And then after practice, they got treatment, lunch at 12:30. Then they got a couple hours off. Then we've got a special teams meeting that'll start at 2. Then after that, half the team will go lift weights. The other half the team will watch film. We'll rotate that. They've got dinner at 5. Then we have a team meeting at 7. That team meeting will talk about, some things that were good throughout the practice, and then some things that need to be corrected in that morning's practice. Then we would go back into meetings after that team meeting, and now we're installing the offense, defense, special teams for the following day.
Yeah.
Then we have a walkthrough of that install, usually around 8 o'clock at night. And then they have a snack. And when I mean snack, it's not like a little bitty sandwich. They're getting a full meal at 9 o'clock at night. And then they're supposed to be lights out at 11 o'clock. And then we start getting in Groundhog Day. But for us coaches, we love it. This is why we get in this profession is to coach these young men. And this is the only time of the year it's football 24/7.
Yeah. And so as a coach, like from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.,
Oh, yeah.
you guys are in the office.
We're in the
you're
office.
ordering what people need to know. Like you're ordering lunch in, you're ordering like you are locked in for those days in camp.
Yeah, so that was kind of the player schedule I just gave you. Well, we still got to get prepared for all those meetings.
Yeah.
And as much as we're organized going into camp, you still got to grade the film, the practice film, make cut-ups, then meet with the players about those corrections. Then they go to dinner, and now we're adjusting the script for the next day and the night meeting. So it's nonstop. But we don't. We don't really think of it as we're locked in here all day, or oh my God, we're working 7 days a week anymore. We love this. This is we work year round for this time of year. So
That's awesome.
A year ago, you had to stop practices at times because you didn't have enough players.
Yeah, right.
This year, you seem to have enough players. But are you concerned that you're going to have to continually stop practice with the Heat, or is that why the 8 o'clock is so important?
Well, we're trying to be proactive, right? Like I've lived in the South most of my life, and I don't know if I ever remember it being this hot. So I've met with our athletic training staff, Hunter Martin, a lot about this. So what we're going to do in the morning on the way to practice field, they're going to do a concentrated Pedialyte shot on the way to the fields. Then during practice, we got a built-in halftime. So it'll be about a 10-minute period. We'll get them underneath the pavilions. We got the cool fans on. They're popping their helmets. They'll eat oranges and then drink a lot of Powerade and water while we're in that 10 minutes. Then we'll come out of that and act like it's a football game. We'll go right into a team period. So now we're talking about working fast, getting off to a fast start. Then after practice, coming off the field, they're going to have another Pedialyte shot. And then in every meeting, they've got to drink a bottle of water. And then at night, we're going to give them liquid IV. So we're trying to stay ahead to keep them very hydrated. But to answer your question, we might have to pause practice depending on that heat bulb and how hot it is. But I hope not.
How about that special event you're going to have this week?
We got Cowboy Bag Bingo is going to be this Tuesday night. We had about 300 women signed up for it right now, and they're playing for designer purses, Chanel, Louis Vuitton. It's a riot, but it's a great fundraiser for the team.
What about with the kids and the players?
The players are waiting on all the tables, so they're going to get it.
With the special needs kids.
Oh, so Victory Day is the following week. That's our first day off, and we're going to have Victory Day that night. And that's for, handicapped children that have not had a chance to play sports, and they're going to score touchdowns, hear their name over the PA system, and cheerleaders and band, everything.
So bingo, Victory Night,
Yep.
all this, and camp.
And camp. Why not?
Busy time.
Jump in the fire.
When we come back with Coach Goff, we're going to talk specifically about camp and some of the interesting competition going on right after this on Poke Nation. We're back with head football coach Gary Goff starting camp this week. Second year in the program. Biggest difference, obviously, is numbers, but what else is there?
Well, I think the biggest difference right now is the attitude. It takes time to build trust, right? So coming in as a new player and a new staff, there's just a lot of different challenges. And, we've been with them now for over a year. I feel like that trust between coaches and players amongst the team is just a lot stronger right now. They understand that we're doing everything in our power to not only give them a great experience, but, give them the resources they need in order to be a great football team. And then, they know that day in, day out, we're working for them, not against them. And sometimes that's hard coming as a new staff to convince 100 new players, hey, I'm here with you, not against you. I'm not trying to run you off, so.
Last year, a lot of it was you were playing catch-up.
Right.
This year, you're kind of ahead of the game. But competition, because of all the 57 players you brought in, the 110 here,
Yeah.
competition has to be pretty exciting there.
It is. And competition makes you better, right? So I thought the mid-year transfers we got, they had a great spring, starting with the 2 quarterbacks. They were here all spring. They've had a great summer, and I'm looking forward to them getting out there and having a great camp. But we got some really good battles at a lot of different positions, and offensively the 2 quarterbacks, and don't forget about some of these freshmen we signed. They're pretty talented freshmen. You never know. We got a battle at center right now. We got David Duvall and James Reddick. Both had a great spring and a great summer, so that's a very good competition right now. And then we've basically got 4 guys competing at tackle. Pretty healthy on the offensive side. This time last year we had, I think we reported camp with almost 9 guys still recovering from a surgery. So knock on wood right now we're healthy. As long as we don't get anybody hurt at bingo, it's a crazy event. But and then the same thing on defense. The secondary is where on defense we struggled last year with all those injuries and the depth there. And we signed a lot of guys at mid-year, been here again all spring and all summer. So I feel like at the safeties and corner positions, there are going to be some great battles.
I wanted to ask you specifically about one position. It's not the quarterback.
Oh, good.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
But I wanted to ask you about the secondary because it's interesting. You brought in a lot of kids, but a lot of kids were forced to play last year.
Yeah.
How do they look, and how does that match up? Because you got a lot of experience where you didn't expect it last year.
Yeah, Crajon Bennett's one that kind of stands out. Really, he's from Iowa, a local kid that, he had to play last year, and he wasn't ready. He's last year he was 152 pounds.
Yep.
Has not had a true off season, and I think it was a Southeastern Louisiana game.
Yeah.
We had another injury, and we had to throw him in. And I've commented on this before. He gave up a touchdown to one of their great players, and he came to the sidelines. Hey, man, don't worry about it. Play the next play. He goes, Coach, I'm fine. So I knew right there he's got the mentality to be a good player. But he's had a really good spring and summer. He's obviously added a lot of strength and some weight to him. But he's battling for a starting position because we brought in some pretty good players at mid-year.
Coach, let's talk about what happened last night, right? It was Sunday night, and
Yeah.
it was the locker room unveiling to the team. First time they saw it. Talk to Polk Nation about what the locker room meant to you, to recruiting, to the kids, like where we're at.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's easy for players and coaches to take things for granted, right? So they have not had a locker room for like the last 4 months. So they've been changing in the meeting rooms, and there's clothes been left everywhere, and we've been on them all summer about pick up your stuff, but and they've been trying to peek in there and see what's going on. But as you know, it took a long time to finally get that thing finished. But I'm glad we waited till they got back on campus to kind of show it to them. And you were in there. I mean, the excitement, the smiles on their faces. I mean, there was a lot of us kind of got a little teary-eyed just because. You're here for the kids, right? You're here for the student athletes, and to see them come in there and their faces was like Christmas morning to them. But, obviously it helps us in a lot of different ways. One, they've got a facility that they can be very proud of, and they know that McNeese is taking care of them, and we want to be great, right? And then two, it's going to help tremendously with recruiting. Up until last night, we've been recruiting with a vision. Hey, this is what we're going to get here. This is, how we're going to win. And, so now we've got something that's concrete of, hey, look, this program and this department is moving in the right direction. So, no, it's going to pay its dividends big time down the road. But I'm very happy for these young men to have something they're extremely proud of.
You mentioned recruiting. The one thing I think that's really interesting is when you look at the roster makeup, you have really done an unbelievable job and made a priority of recruiting locally, recruiting within the state and within the region. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, obviously being in Southwest Louisiana, I mean, we're in a hotbed. You really can draw a circle around campus about 3 hours and have all the athletes you could ever need. So we got about 20 guys that are local guys that are on the roster. But I tell you, it's a challenge. It really is a challenge because with the portal and guys who might be leaving your program, you've got to plug holes. So it is very hard to say, hey, we're just going to recruit right here in Southwest Louisiana. Now, I think we got some great talent from this area, and I'm very proud that we've got those guys on the roster. But, like next year, we've got 4 seniors. Okay, so let's say you have some attrition, so you're going to maybe sign a class of 10 to 12.
Right.
Well, we're going to plug those holes with some transfers, whether it's junior college players or 4-year transfers. So it could be a young man from New Jersey or from Alaska. We don't know. But you do have to have a good base right here, and I think Coach has done a great job of finding talent locally.
Yeah.
And interesting, you got local kids, but you also went all the way to California to get kids. So it's
Nebraska.
Hey, get them where you can. When we come back, we'll get Coach's final thoughts after this on Poke Nation.
Car wrecks, done. Personal injury, done. Workers' comp, done. Truck wrecks, done. Pete Gordon, and get it done.
Interesting that you must have put out a memo to all your coaches to pick on my jacket. So it just seems like that's where we go first for some reason with you. Anyway, that's all. That's all.
It's
I'm
an
gonna say.
unbelievable jacket. It's nice. And it's new.
It is,
but go ahead.
It is new. It is new. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the comments online, too, by the way, last week. Very nice. Football, obviously, is the main thing. But you have other programs starting up that you have put some effort into and changed. Volleyball coming up had a big year last year, but you're also starting beach volleyball. Talk a little bit about starting up sports in today's place, because if you go to FBS, you have to bring in some other sports, don't you?
You have to have 16. I think beach volleyball is something that a lot of institutions are doing. It's a growing sport. The popularity of it has gotten phenomenal. One of the reasons why I hired Sasha was her experience in beach, and I just think that it's a sport that I knew we needed to bring in. We needed to give more opportunities to women athletes. We still need to give more to women athletes and those opportunities, and some of those things will get announced here, in the near future.
You're throwing teases out on the show? What
It's true, though. I mean, it's. But I also think that like South Beach, the facility that we play in, that is right near campus. Dr. John Noble is a primary owner of that facility. It's an unbelievable beach facility. I think we can be really good in beach. I think it's a growing sport in popularity. I'm really, really excited about it.
Were you considering bowling at one time?
For sure.
But the league stopped bowling.
The
even though they
league
didn't
stopped
have
bowling, right. The
It
league stopped
went-
bowling.
But the league went 1-2 in the country.
But I mean, but to answer your overall question, yes, we, if we go to, if we ever make that move or that opportunity comes, we would have to add one, but we'd probably add 2 sports at the time.
One thing I want to point out that last week we talked about the podcast that's coming. It's not Poke Nation on radio, is it?
Correct.
That's
No,
something
it's
that-
not. It's
so
not.
just so people know that it is a little different animal. It's more coaches. It's not myself. There, we won't be talking jackets.
Right.
No jacket will be required on that show. I'm going to point that out.
Right.
But we're still looking forward to that at the end of the month. More announcements coming on that. But I wanted to get that out there because a lot of people asked me if it was this, and it's not the same exact thing.
Correct.
This show will still be here doing this thing.
100%. And talking about the jacket.
Oh, for that. We got 2 minutes to go. I don't know what to say now after that. I wanted to ask you this, though, about as an AD now. Your job basically is the seeds have been planted for the year. How much football are you going to go out and watch? How much football do you worry about now? Do you watch practice? How involved do you get?
I'll go on and watch. I love watching Coach teach. He still calls plays. I mean, he is a football guy, and I love watching practice. I like to go to to different sports, and I'll go to every sport and watch a practice or two and watch games. And but obviously, football is a big one. I really like where we're at, and the nice thing is, and he mentioned it, is we only have 4 seniors.
Yeah.
This program is healthier now from a culture standpoint, academic standpoint, and talent standpoint than it's been in a long, long time.
Well, the biggest thing I think last year was he sent the message with some of his decisions on suspensions and
No doubt.
that kind of went off your plate. You didn't have to worry about it because he took care of it.
That's right.
How important was that to set this year up?
Oh, I think it's everything. I mean, look, if you're 4-7 or 5-6, does it really matter? I mean, he and I talked about that. When a lot of those decisions were being made, I said, look, Coach, we at the end of the day, like we're either going to be 4-7, 5-6, something like. What does it matter? Like, we're not elite. If we're going to get to be elite, you have to lay the foundation to be elite. And if that means we lose a game in the first year to lay a foundation to be elite, I mean, I'm all in. And I'm just proud of him because he's always had that mentality. He's always come in here with a culture first attitude, and it's what it's what this program needed.
It's what he believes.
And he believes it, and he's done it everywhere he's been. And the thing that always put it over the edge when I knew he was the right guy is that this program was so broke in every way possible. People have no idea how broke this thing was. And
Well, I tried to tell people that. People didn't believe me when I said this is not a good program.
academically was broke, culture was broke, financially we were broke. We've had coach after coach after. I mean, it was a mess, and we needed someone in to gut it and truly build the program to get back to where we needed to be, and someone who wanted to be here. And he is an absolute home run. I love him to death.
Yeah, I think the big thing is he wanted to be here.
Yes, and the thing is like everything about him is authentic. What you see is what you get. He is a coach's coach. He loves football. I just love everything about what this program stands for and where we're headed.
And where we're headed is into practice and camp. We'll see how it's going next week